Hey journeys, where y'all been? It's Unique and I'm back with another video. So today I wanted to come and bring y'all 5 dating mistakes that I have made in the past and what I learned from them. I've actually been dating for about 14 years now, so I have made plenty mistakes and I have learned from so many of them. If y'all haven't considered liking the video, then definitely do so, and subscribe to my channel if you feel led. If y'all are interested in hearing 5 mistakes that I've made in dating, then stay tuned. So for me, I would say one of the biggest dating mistakes that I have made, honestly y'all, has been settling for less than I deserve. Not knowing my own personal worth has put me in so many relationships with people that was just not up to par. I honestly can contribute it to me having a low self-esteem. Like, my potential and the greatness that I am, it just was not flourishing and shining at that time. And the people that I was with, it reflected that. And then once I got into a space when I started feeling like I was in my power, I was feeling myself, I was getting confident, I then felt as if this didn't work out with X, Y, and Z, like maybe I'm just shooting too high. So I would still return back to either being with somebody that I wasn't attracted to, or being with somebody who didn't meet like all of my marks and all of my desires that I wanted in a person that I was dating, and I would just go ahead and be with them because I felt like I gave up. I'm telling y'all, I have literally been dating for 14 years. Even though I'm still relatively young, I feel exhausted as it relates to intimate partner relationships. I feel like I went into the situation like, well, this is probably the best that I'm gonna get. It didn't work out with such and such, so I feel like this is the best I'm gonna get. They f with me, they look out for me, they support me, we already friends, we just might as well be together. In my heart, I wasn't physically attracted to them. Physical attraction could be a way of settling, but you can also settle in a way for somebody's MO. So like, their mindset and their mentality could be on a different level than what yours is, but you feel like you don't deserve to have somebody on your level or somebody that's in a direction as to where you plan on taking your own life. So you just go ahead and be with the Joe Schmo. I know personally for me, in a lot of my relationships, I allow myself to be mutable in those relationships, and what that meant for me personally was that I would change myself to accommodate what they wanted. On their end, I was a settle for them, and then on my end, they was also a settle for me. In those moments, I honestly couldn't see it. But what I can tell y'all that I learned from settling is that until you know your own self-worth, until you know what it is that you deserve, until you know your greatness, your power, your light, your amazingness, your awesomeness, you won't accept anything to those levels. Also, you have to be on a frequency and vibration to align with greater. So if you want to be great, you need to get on that vibration. If you want to be prosperous, successful, you have to get on that vibration. I wouldn't recommend going out there looking. It'll happen organically, and in most cases they may come to you. I mean, if you see something that you like, go for it. I don't know, like in some situations it worked out, but I personally don't pick them good, so I don't go out there and try to find nobody no more. I let them come to me. Have a clear idea as to what it is that you want. Write it down, put it on paper. Know that there's some things that are just deal breakers for you and you just cannot accept. A settle for me would be to be with somebody who is not attentive. I love when the person that I'm dating is thoughtful, they pay attention, they listen to me attentively. I love those things. So like, for me to go and be with somebody that's not attentive, that would be me settling and going against what it is that I really want. That's something that's so small but so huge for me. Whatever is on your list, it could be simple, and that's okay. It's okay for it to be simple. Settling would definitely be top for me. That's why I put it as the #1 thing. Like, when I started making this list, I was like, settling, period. The next one, neglecting my responsibilities. Dog, I I wasted so much money, okay? This was major for me during my college years because of the simple fact that if the person that I was with needed something, I would stop what it was that I was doing and go attend to them. I would call off of work sometimes, so that would cut into my money that I was earning. I would not do my homework right away. I'll push my homework off, push a paper off, not come to the study group, all types of stuff if my person needed me, you know? I would just drop everything and go. A lot of times I would be in the middle of studying, they would call me, oh, you coming when? I'll be running in like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, bet. Close the book, go get ready, go get freshened up. Yes, I was so keen on tending to their needs, making sure they was good, making sure that I was up and around them in their space and stuff. That's why I really try to work on this whole codependency and attachment issue thing. It causes me to be in a space where like a lot of my time goes into others. When I was in college, so much of my time went to others. My grades reflected that. My progress through school reflected that as well. What I learned about neglecting your own responsibilities is that people are out here living their lives. They are getting to their dreams, their aspirations, and everything. If you continue to work for other people, I know you like work for other people. No, you can work for somebody else in a relationship. If you continue to work for other people and neglect what it is that you are supposed to be doing with your life, you are only prolonging the steps that it takes to get to your future or your next goal. If you are not putting in the time, the resources that's necessary into your own visions and dreams, and you're putting that all out into somebody else's, they're going to be manifesting up off of your energy, and all of your things that you want for yourself is just going to be left by the wayside. How did I become a 5th year senior and still leave without a degree? Because of the simple fact that, yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on, and I had like traumas that happened to me while I was in school. I was too far away from home. To keep it real, like I was really empty in those spaces. Sometimes I just didn't do what it was that I was supposed to do. It could be a simple task, like, and I just wouldn't do it. My relationship meant so much more to me than school that I wouldn't even try. My professors would come, sit me down. We would go to office hours. They would sit me down. I would walk through this with you, Unique. They was literally willing to hold my hand in undergrad. There's no other school that I know of that a professor will hold your hand to make sure that you succeed. Okay, cool, in that moment. And he'd be like, okay, Thursday, 4 o'clock, that's all I got. I'm like, all right, Thursday, 4 o'clock, I'ma see you. Girl, Thursday, 3 o'clock roll around, I'm emailing them like, I apologize so much, something came up, I'm not able to, I'm going off campus, period. So like, I would say in my college years, like that was the time when I neglected my responsibilities the most, because I was like so gung-ho about this relationship, like the newness of it, what it did to my mind. I don't know if y'all listened to Lisa Nichols, but she was talking on the School of Greatness, and she was saying how like there's 3 different types of relationships, and one of the relationships that she talked about was the life-giving relationships. And at that time when I was in college, I was in a very life-giving relationship, and it was sparking like so much in me that it made the academic side of my life seem so dull and boring, and like I just couldn't focus and like keep my mind on track because my mind was just in the stars. I was somewhere else. That was a big mistake for me, just taking those classes for granted, not like breaking it down money wise. How much money was I spending to just be in a company of somebody that wasn't even trying to help me like get through school? What I was able to learn from like neglecting my responsibilities is that it's gonna cost you. It's gonna either cost you money, your dreams, or your future. And I can attest to that. I am a living witness that it will cost you. If anything, it's gonna cost you, and anything else that comes along with that is probably just a domino effect, but above all else, it's gonna cost you, okay? And it will cost you a lot. When you crunch them numbers, honey, when you crunch them hours, you will realize like, wow, put that on a pie graph and see what your percentages are, like, of the time that you investing into this relationship. Do use this, like, boss up on your own. Whoever is meant to be for you, they gonna be for you, but you do not have to be up under people, stifling them. Anytime somebody call you, you don't have to drop what you're doing. Set boundaries when it comes to these people. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to myself. Set boundaries. Do what it is that you have to do for yourself and your dreams, because at the end of the day, you are the only person that you have. You can have a support system now and they'll be gone tomorrow. And what will you be left with? What did you invest into you? Your #1 investment is yourself. Invest in yourself and stop neglecting yourself for a relationship. It's really not worth it. It's gonna cost you more than you gain. I promise you it will. It may seem like you gaining in that present moment, but I'm telling you, that is fleeing. It's fleeing and it's fleeting. It's temporary. It's instant gratification, but that do not last. It will be here today and it will be gone tomorrow. So yeah, take that into consideration, because I am a living witness. I wouldn't even come on here and tell y'all if it's not nothing that I didn't go through myself. All this hit home for me, period. The third mistake that I made in dating was buying the person that I was with. Feeling like I could buy people to make them stay with me. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the examples that I had in relationships coming up, I'm gonna be honest, they were kind of toxic. What I went into relationships with was honestly feeling as if money was everything. You get what I'm saying? I felt like if you got money, you can have whatever you want in this world. I was basically buying attention and time. One of my love languages with the highest percentage is gifts. I like receiving gifts. I would buy the person that I was with because of the fact that I knew, like, for me, that was my love language, and I felt like the way that I like to be loved is how I should put out my love onto other people. I really didn't take the time to understand what that person's love language was. And if you feel like you have to buy somebody with money, your time, your resources, then you're already going into it from a place of manipulation. I would manipulate people with money. Sis, why are you messing with scrubs? You are a college educated black woman with a good head on your shoulders, a pure heart, good character. Why do you do this? But honestly, y'all, the shadow side of me was master manipulator. I would literally come through with whatever it was, and like, I know that is so toxic now, and I have a better understanding. If you have to buy somebody to be with you, that is not your person. I wasn't selling myself. I was just giving materialistically to them so that they could be in my life, stay in my life. Anytime they said they wanted something, I was getting it for them. Along with the second one, it took me further and further away from my goals. I was trying to save up for getting my own place, trying to save up for my own car, being able to travel, take trips with my friends. All of this stuff I had, you know, in my heart to do, and I had accounts for it, but I would pull from those accounts to do for them, get them money and buy them stuff. You get what I'm saying? Just like neglecting your responsibilities, buying a person with time, money, and resources, that will cost you as well. Y'all, I could have saved so much money. Relationships was expensive. If I would have just went into it knowing that like I was enough and I didn't need extra things or stuff to compensate for who it was that I already was as a person. And I couldn't even see at that time that that person didn't accept me for who I was wholeheartedly, because they had to be kept with stuff. They didn't even f with me really anyway, because if you really f with me, if you really like me, if you really love me like you said you did, you wouldn't need me to do these things for you, to make you give me your time, to make you be there for me, for you to do the bare minimum that you're supposed to do as my person. That was a dub. Don't do that. So for me, I've been going through like many processes of like just finding myself, getting to know myself, coming more into my sexuality, and a lot of times I wouldn't speak up and articulate to the person that I was with what it was that I really wanted. I've been in a lot of relationships where the sex was horrible, but in order for them to be there with me and spend time with me, I would like take bad sex, as opposed to finding finding ways that I could also be pleasured in that moment, I would be okay with accepting bad sex, because I knew that would be an opportunity for us to spend time together, and it was also something that I knew that they liked and they enjoyed. That crippled me for a long time, because I went through a lot of my sexual experiences not being fulfilled. I would do things like step out of my relationship, go have sex with other people just to get that feeling. I would literally be with one person and then I would go meet somebody else who fulfilled me sexually, and I would go and be with them as well for sex, and then I would come and be with my partner. I would literally do it like that because of the simple fact that I wasn't telling them what it was that I really wanted, and I wasn't opening my mouth and saying like, I actually don't like when you do it like that. Like, I was just let them keep going. I was just lay there and be like, okay, whatever. It was also times when I just wanted to end it or dead it, and I would still drag it along because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. So I would end up staying in situations way longer than I had to because I wasn't brave enough and I didn't have enough courage to say like, you know, actually this is not working out for me and I'm not happy here, so I'm just gonna go. It's been real, thank you, but I can't. I can say it now, obviously, but back then I couldn't say that. If I wanted to leave, I would stay because I'm like, oh my god, like that's really gonna hurt their feelings, and I don't want to come off like a bad person, so I don't want to do that. So I was just staying. The first mistake that I made was not telling the person that I was with what it was that I really wanted. The biggest lesson out of that for me was just, it is okay to go after your own fulfillment. It is okay to have your own fulfillment in your life. It is okay to have it all. For me, being a person that felt like I wasn't enough, I felt like I wasn't worthy or deserving to have a full person in the full totality of what it was that I wanted. I felt like I only deserved breadcrumbs. I felt like I only deserved pieces of them, a little piece here, and then if they didn't have that, I would go over here and they would have these little pieces that they didn't have, but they didn't have these pieces that they had. And I would go back and I would do like these love triangle things. People would get heartbroken. There's been tears, there's been fighting, screaming matches. Honestly, y'all, it's been the worst. And all I had to do was say like, your sex is bad. Don't say that. All I had to do was offer more suggestions as to what would be best for me. Coming from being in heterosexual relationships for like majority of my life, I just wasn't taught the tools and the skills that a woman should be able to be pleasured, and a woman should be able to get exactly what it is that she wants, whether she has to get it for herself, give it to herself, or get it somewhere else. I came up in a very like closed-minded, restrictive time where it was just, well, you're not supposed to be having sex before marriage anyway, so but nobody said in like, okay, if I am having sex, how do I navigate this? If I am having sex, why don't we talk about my pleasure? Why is it the pleasure of a man that's solely most important in this situation? Why is his pleasure okay? It was plenty of times where got theirs and I never got mine. I never articulated, no, you stay the f right here until I'm done. You get what I'm saying? I didn't articulate that. So like, that's why it's so key to tell people what you want, because you will continue to be in relationships that you're not fulfilled in, and you will keep covering it up with like, oh, but they're nice to me. Oh, but they take care of me. Oh, but they do this, they do that, they do this, they do that. Okay, but still, you deserve to be pleasured. You deserve to have everything that it is that you want. Just lying in general, you know, like that was a big mistake for me being in relationships. Just lying in general. Not telling the truth about what you really want and not speaking up for what it is that you really want. That's lying to your partner, because they're gonna be thinking that you're fulfilled and that you're happy when internally that's not how you feel. And if you don't articulate that, and if you don't speak up about that, they'll never know. When you get the inkling like, I'm about to dip, like I can't do this no more, and you come to them and tell them, they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? We're fine. You get what I'm saying? So like, that's so toxic. Don't be toxic. Oh my gosh, like I really had to make up in my mind, I'm not gonna be toxic. I'm not gonna be toxic. I'm not gonna be toxic. I'm not gonna keep people over. I'm just gonna tell the truth even when it hurts. I really hate hurting people. I'm such an empath, dog. I would literally neglect my needs so I didn't hurt somebody else. The very last one, the 5th dating mistake that I have made in past relationships has been justifying poor treatment. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I would defend some bull. You know, I would defend publicly. I would defend to my parents, to my family. I would defend to my friends. I would defend. When I love somebody, I love them so hard. And a lot of times I'll go into relationships with a very clouded judgment about what's really going on. There will be very evident signs, and my friends will be like, oh, yo, did you peep that? And I'd be like, oh no, it's nothing. It's really fine. Oh, they didn't mean it like that. Trust me, we're good. We're good. I would justify poor treatment because to me, that's what it was that I deserved. To me, something internally inside of me subconsciously felt like that was enough. Even though the treatment was poor, I felt that that's what was best for me. But somebody that's in a more confident headspace, somebody that's secure in themselves, they be like, oh, I would never. You know how I say, oh, I don't settle for people who don't be attentive to me. But there's people out there in relationships with people that's not attentive. And I'm over here like, oh, I could never. My friends, they would literally be like, oh girl, I could never. They would never talk to me like that. They would never do that to me or whatever. And I would be like, oh no, it's fine. Like, I'm good. It's really okay. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. That was my favorite thing. Oh, it's not that serious. But that was toxic. My friends would clock it and like peep it, and they'll try to tell me, and I would make all these excuses because I have this thing where when I'm dating somebody, I'll put them on a pedestal as if they are more worthy than me. It honestly may come from the religious background that I had coming up. There's a lot of language in the text that encourages like submissiveness and that encourages you to feel as if you're a peasant, when in all reality you're not supposed to be subordinate to anybody. That's why our government, our country, and our society is so tainted right now, because people feel superior to others, but we're all one. When I'm in a relationship with somebody, I only see the good. Off rip, I just see the good in you. I don't see that you're human, none of that. To me, you are glistening in the sky, high above me. I have a tendency of putting the person that I'm in a relationship with on a pedestal, so that's why it's so easy for me to justify poor treatment and poor behavior. I would sweep a lot of stuff under the rug as well. You know, just how I say like, oh no, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm okay. And then I would let that build up for like an extended period of time, and then I would end up having so much built up inside of me until one point that I just explode. The lesson that I learned from that justifying poor treatment is that you don't care about yourself. You don't care about yourself if you let somebody treat you bad. If you allow your judgment to get so cloudy to the point where you still put a person on a pedestal who treats you like, it don't add up. One thing I realized is that we all are one. Nobody is higher than anybody. Nobody is lesser than anybody. We are all students and teachers here. Every single last one of us. That's how I have to think of it. That's how I have to go into it. Just as great as I believe that you are, I am also. Coming to that realization and accepting it has been so challenging for me, but honestly, I have to keep pouring into myself and saying, Unique, you are great. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, they're amazing, but you are too. Me and my counselor have been sorting through that, honestly. And so, y'all, number 5 is one that I'm still working on, and all of the things that comes in a domino effect as it relates to number 5. I'm still in the learning process. I'm not trying to come on here as if I've got it all figured out. I'm still navigating relationships. I'm just talking about exes and stuff. I haven't even got to friends and family. That's a whole nother thing, like, in how I've made mistakes. I just want to thank y'all for sitting here throughout this entire video. Honestly, if you made it to this point, I love you and I respect you and I appreciate you. It means the most to me to just have you listen to what it is that I had to say and be open about my experiences. So definitely consider liking the video, leaving a comment about, you know, which one of these mistakes have you made in your relationship. and what was it that you learned from it? I would love to hear y'all perspectives in the comment section below. Let me know that y'all resonate. I feel in my spirit that is one of y'all out there that's just like, yes, sis, absolutely, me too. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Come check me out on my social media accounts. All of the links will be in the description box down below. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all on my next one. Bye, Journey.